It was just greedy. We also, like, our turn 1 was a little anemic. Kind of like this one is too. But I think it's just okay. We'll just end. We'll do it now. Let's get a 2-drop. It's a 1-drop. Wrecked by Swole Squirrel? No, Swole Squirrel is actually kind of strong. That's the second time I've lost to that combo. The Dragon's Rage is actually legit with it. Let's top deck Visions here. Oh my god, we did it. We have double chompers, so I'm okay playing something out here. It's hard for him to mess me up at slow speed here. Like, if it's developing a unit, I don't really care, right? Clapped. That game was actually just a clap, dude. Alright, what's going on, everyone? What's going on? Today we're going to be taking a look at this deck that I've been playing quite a bit over the past few days. I think it's really good. It's Jinx Draven Discard Aggro. And I'm gonna give you guys a run through of this deck because it's got a lot of interactions going on in it, and there's a lot of different lines of play. Like, honestly, I'm still learning so much about this deck. Every time I play, I'm learning new ways to go about playing the game. Because while this deck is very aggressive, it also has ways to play like very slow, and it can control the board quite a bit. And it's got like it's very interesting the way that this deck can end up playing out in some spots. So I'm going to give you guys a run through. So the first thing we're going to take a look at is the discard package. So the first thing we got the jury rigs. You got your jury rigs. You got your, where are they? You got your flame chompers, your jury rigs, and your visions. Now these cards, you discard them, you get free stuff, right? So they're excellent. So you have a lot of ways to discard with Poro Cannon, with Rummage, with Zonite Urchin. You have Axes off of Draven, and you have Augmented Experimenter to pitch your whole hand. Those are all going to be triggering all of those effects, which is going to make things really crazy. Poro Cannon is 0 cost, so sometimes you can catch people slip up, you can attack with a Jinx, or they can attack into your Jinx, or they can use a spell on your Jinx. When you have 2 cards in hand, they think you won't be able to discard. You use Poro Cannon, you can all of a sudden burst level your Jinx and blow people out. There are hands where you're going to be able to go like Axe, Poro Cannon, and be able to surprise level your Jinx where your opponent didn't think you'd be able to do it, and you'll be getting value while you're doing it with your Flame Chompers, your Jury Rigs, and your Visions. So you have a lot of card draw in this deck. You have your Augmented Experimenters, you have your Jinx, and you have your Zonite Urchins, you have your Rummages. These guys are going to help you keep churning through the deck, keep cycling very quickly so you can continue to find your really gassy cards, your Augmenteds, your Jinxes. Draven's pretty decent, and then your Get Exciteds and Mystic Shots, because at the end of the game, you're looking just for reach, right? That's how you're trying to win. So your early game package, outside of just the discard stuff, is actually very light. You can count Zonite Urchin even though it's really just a discard thing, but you can play this out on turn 1 alongside a Jury Rig or alongside a Chompers, and you'll be able to build a relatively wide board just at the start of the game. Legion Saboteur is gonna be, so your 1 and 2 drop is basically Legion Saboteur and Boom Crew Rookie. They're both great at just attacking. Flame Chompers can kind of give them the red carpet to just hit the face and give them another chance to attack the face again. You really want to be maximizing on your Boom Crew Rookie damage in this deck. If you can trigger Boom Crew like 2 or 3 times in a game, you're probably going to be winning that game. Same with Legion Saboteur, but to a lesser extent. But Legion Saboteur is hitting for 3 damage just like Boom Crew, just a little bit more frail. So they're both going to be pressuring your opponent quite a bit. The 1x Death's Hand is, I'm really not sure about this card. This one slot is the hardest slot to fill for this deck because there's no more discard synergy, and all the other cards are like kind of interesting. Right now I'm playing the Death's Hand because I think Death's Hand has the lowest floor and the lowest ceiling out of all the other cards you could be playing in this slot. I think it's the most consistent out of all the cards you could be playing in this slot. I could see a 1x Thermogenic Beam as being a pretty decent choice. I could see a 1x Blade's Edge being interesting. I could see the 1x Brothers Bond being a choice you could go with. You can go with the 1x Legion Grenadier, but I think Legion Grenadier is weak. The reason I don't want the highest floor, lowest floor would be bad. Yeah, it's got the highest floor and the lowest ceiling. I don't know if I said that right. I might have said that backwards. But the reason I don't like the Legion Grenadier in this last slot, I want the last card to be something I can easily play when I'm top decking with Jinx, right? Say you're drawing 2 cards a turn, right? That's the situation I see myself drawing this 1x Death's Hand the most. So I don't want to be playing a unit like Sump Dredger in that slot, because when you're in those top decking situations and say I'm going into my opponent's turn, now they have the first action, right? So I can't play a unit to get my rocket. I need something that I need a spell that I can play to get my rocket. Death's Hand will let me get that rocket if the other spell that I draw is, the other card I draw is also a spell. You really want to be limiting the amount of times that when you're in those top decking situations that you're going to be drawing 2 units, because when you draw 2 units, that's how you kind of get your hand bricked out. And you end up not getting the rocket and things end up going kind of weird. The Noxian Fervor, I was also considering a 1x Noxian Fervor. The reason I'm not going for the Fervor is because in that same top decking situation, I don't want to be targeting my Jinx with a Noxian Fervor. Straight up. Like if the only thing I have in play, if the only unit I have in play is Jinx, and I need to use Noxian Fervor to get my rocket, and I'm killing my Jinx to get the rocket, that's not a deal I'm looking to take. So the Death's Hand doesn't make that happen. Yeah, you could do like a gotcha, I guess, but I think gotcha seems really weak. Like Death's Hand just goes face for 1. I feel like Death's Hand is like, it removes something and it goes face for 1. So I feel like it's the best card to put in this slot. But I could see some other things working in this slot for sure. You could do like a 1x Progress Day, just as like more gas, but that's a very expensive card that you usually don't have the time to cast. So yeah, there's a lot of things you can play in this slot, but I don't know. I think Death's Hand is probably the best one. Of course, you have your Draven, your Jinx. Draven is excellent at just giving you axes. Axes are incredibly flexible. They're good at getting discarded to make fodder. You can just use them to push a lot of damage. You can use them to make incredibly aggressive Jinx level up plays. Axes are really cool. They're really helpful. They're really good. You're probably very rarely going to be leveling up Draven. I think in the multiple games we played today, we only leveled up Draven 1 time. So I think Draven level ups are something that you really don't go for very often, but once he gets leveled up, he does start making a lot of axes. They can get tossed to Rummage, they can get tossed to Zonite, they can keep your hand full with a lot of gas. And that is the entire list. I'm probably going to do another one of these videos about this deck at some point, where I go more in depth on a lot of the interactions in the deck, because there are really a lot. Like one I'll say now, Zonite Urchin and Visions, right? So if you pitch Visions to Zonite Urchin, the Zonite Urchin that you're playing does not receive the buff. So there's like stuff like that. There's a lot of weird interactions. I might end up doing a level 2 video on this deck, because I think this deck is incredibly excellent. So you guys will see some gameplay that we'll have after this in a second. And if you enjoyed the video and would like to see more of this kind of content, please do click that follow button, click that subscribe button, hit the bell for more notifications, and let me know what you think in the comments below. Alright guys, see you in a sec. We're playing against Endure. This is a kind of hard matchup. We're going to keep this whole thing. Our turn 1 and 2 is very weak right now. Our turn 1 is fine now. It's a good start for us. Top deck Boom Crew now. Oh yeah, let's go. Maybe I'm supposed to pull there, but I think it's okay to not. I think I can buff this guy up with visions and start getting in. Does he have another spider? Oh. In this matchup, you can aggressively play out your Jinx. They don't really have ways to remove it. In a lot of matchups, you don't want to do this with Jinx, but in this one, it's very okay to do this. We're going to be buffing up Draven here. Just getting in for damage. Try to level him. If we can level Draven in this matchup, it's really good for us. The overwhelm is just kind of devastating in this matchup if you can get it. And I think he's going to be going to attack this turn, so we trap him with our Whirling Death. Okay, he doesn't attack. That's very smart for him. If he attacks, he kind of just loses, I think. He's always going to block, so if you wait, sometimes you can get a mistake. Yeah, you probably might be right there. But we're always looking to put the axe on because there might be some weird world where he doesn't, but you're probably right. You're probably right. I think we're just going in like this here. We want Draven to just start trampling over. Did he say you're gonna need a doctor? I think that might be what Draven said there. You'd hate to play against this in your games. So what's his 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So his thing isn't even big enough to trample over yet. Let's just go for the rocket. This is a lot of value to be discarding, but we're going to be making more axes. One damage off here. How do I lethal? This double Mystic Face is 5 mana, and then I can rock it. I can't rock it if I cast the Death's Hand this turn. So I have to give up Death's Hand, I think. Maybe I'm supposed to play the Get Excited here, the Jinxes. We'll just take this block, protect ourselves for 1 damage. He's kind of close to killing us, but I don't think he can. Sentry. This is a good draw, because we can get the Neverglade if we really need to. Depends on how much minion suicide he can do. Yeah, I don't think he can do enough. Especially since I have the Get Excited. He's blocking with this one first. And maybe those other guys. Whatever.